have elected to receive, and so it'll be Whit Smith set to kick it off. Dropping back deep, Tim Lewis and Barry Compton to receive it. As we get underway with the 47th annual Cotton Bowl game in Dallas, Texas. The lights are on here at the Cotton Bowl. Here comes Whit Smith. The ball is in the air. And it's taken at the 5-yard line by Tim Lewis. Lewis to the right to the 15-yard line. To the 20, Tim Lewis to the 25. And he goes out of bounds at the 28-yard line. 23-yard kickoff return for Tim Lewis. Darrell Reese made the tackle. Okay, now let's set the backfield. There are the backs for Pittsburgh, Pat.
Brian Thomas, the tailback, he compliments Marino very, very well. He's rushed for over 900 yards this year and is their leading receiver, Lindsey.
Joe McCall, of course, the fullback these days, and Clint Wilson is starting at tight end as John Brown, last year's hero on the Sugar Bowl, is out of action. Marino waits for the snap. By the draw play to McCall. Do it all, McCall gets out to the 35-yard line. Tackled by Russell Carter on that corner, All Southwest Conference cornerback. Now let's look at the defensive line, Pat.
There's Michael Carter, the nose guard. Good matchup between he and Sweeney. Jim Sweeney, the center from Pittsburgh.
Going to be second down, 3 yards to go now, as you see the linebackers and the deep backs.
3 All Southwest Conference performers right there in defensive secondary.
Tough defensive secondary from Marino to throw into. Second down play here. Marino with his first pass of the day, but he doesn't get it off yet. Well, he's still alive and hits the deck with a gain of about 2. I think he's a yard short of the first down, and lucky to be alive. Michael Carter and Richard Neely in there on the tackle.
Dan Marino, the quarterback for Pittsburgh, received a lot of criticisms this year for not being able to run the football. Here you're going to see him avoid some pressure. He avoids the rush from number 93, Russell Washington, then shows some adeptness of finding a little hole and picking up a yard and avoiding a big loss.
As it's spotted, it's third down and a long 2. 3rd and 2. They're doubling to the left side now. It's going to be Collins and Compton to the left side. Running backs in an I formation. Wide receiver right for Dan Marino. Gives it to his tailback, Thomas. Deep D Express. He got it. It's a 1st and 10. Up there near the 40-yard line. Artificial turf here at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. We had a little bit of rain this morning here. Cloudy skies, overcast. First down, 10 yards to go for the Pitt Panthers. They're sending Julius Dawkins to the right side. McCall and Brian Thomas are the running backs. They're in the 1 setback situation. Motion across, that's Thomas from the wing right. And it is completed across the 50-yard line. Taken by Barry Compton, and he is down at the 46. A 13-yard pickup on the play. Eddie Radford from his right corner came in to make the tackle. Spotted at the 46-yard line.
Lindsey, you expect new things to happen in bowl games. As we mentioned, they had 4 to 5 weeks to get ready with this. Pittsburgh's come out with 3 wide receivers, and I think has caught SMU a little off guard. And notice they picked on the 1 defensive back, Eddie Radford, who was not All Southwest Conference.
First down, 10 yards to go at the 46-yard line of Southern Methodist University. Still that 1 setback. That's Thomas in motion across. Give it to McCall. And McCall is at the 44-yard line. He picked up 2 yards on the play. Stopped by Richard Neely. It'll be second down and 8. McCall was a tailback. He's the starting fullback now. He's expected to be the starting tailback next season for the Pittsburgh Panthers. No score in the game, it having just begun here in Dallas, Texas. And here come the Panthers. They're doubling Collins and Compton. To the right side, Dawkins is wide to the left side. Long set back, 3 wide receivers. That's Thomas. That's Brian Thomas. He got across the 40-yard line to the 39 before he was hit by Gary Moten. The SMU coaches, Pat, are certainly high on Moten.
They say he's the best linebacker they said, but watch, you're going to see Pittsburgh run the football here. They're running it early in the game, try to establish running game, a little inside trap. Jimbo Colbert, the All-American tackle, leading the way for 44, Brian Thomas. And there's the man you mentioned, Gary Moten, making the tackle.
3rd down and 3 at the 39. They're 1 for 1 on 3rd down conversion so far in the ball game. Marino wants something, perhaps dry ball. I think he does want a dry ball.
Well, if I were a quarterback, I'd want to drive ball too.
Coach Fazio, who was the defensive coach last year, and then when Jackie Sherrill went to Texas A&M, he became the head coach. Bobby Collins, who has been in coaching for a long, long time, was head coach at Southern Mississippi. Before that, he had been at North Carolina as an assistant staff member and came here this year. Third down, 3 yards to go. Marino. Incomplete. He's sliding, very confident. Could not get to it. That'll bring up a 4th and 3. Richard Neely was the man who was chasing Marino on the far side.
We talked about Marino scrambling. He's 6'4" and 215 pounds, but here he shows, again, remarkable agility. He avoids Jerry Kovar, number 37, and throws the ball to Barry Compton, his 3rd wide receiver in the game. Now, that ball is catchable, goes right through Barry's hands. You can get an isolated look. Barry's at the bottom of the screen right there. He's going to run an in route. He beats the defender. Radford, his hand is up, signaling that he is open. And the ball is thrown well. It looks like he's more concerned about the out-of-bounds marker and does not catch the ball.
Tony Reccia, who has averaged 36.4. And so they snapped it to the short man, and it was taken there by Dukovic, and Dukovic has picked up the 1st and 10. Little razzle-dazzle and a gadget play, a 12-yard pickup.
Again, you're always going to see new things in bowl games. Here's the direct snap to Dukovic, number 11. He was the blocking back. They must have seen something in the films. They pick up a 1st down, a critical 1st down early in the 1st quarter.
1st and 10 inside the 28-yard line. For the Pitt Panthers, they keep their drive alive, trying to take it down the field and into the end zone. A record of 9 wins and only 2 losses for the season. Ranked number 6 in both the national polls coming into today's game. Double receivers to the left side. Again, that's Collins and Compton. Lone setback. Moreno goes a screen left. Taken by McCall, and McCall is at the 20, 15. Do it all, McCall. And he is out of bounds at the 1-yard line. 1st and goal at the 1, 26 yards on the screen pass. Russell Carter and Blaine Smith corralled him just before he got to the flag.
Lindsey, very nice play selection by the Pittsburgh Panthers. We see them throw the ball downfield. We see them run the ball very well. And here's the little screen pass to number 34, Joe McCall, to avoid the rush. Now, we've seen Marino under a little pressure so far. How do you relieve the pressure? You throw such things as screen passes. And here's one of Joe McCall. He brings down all the way to the 1-yard line.
So the Panthers now bringing out in an I formation, and they've got McIntyre in there at fullback now. McCall did not get in. He did not get in. Gary Moulton was the linebacker who was there, and he fumbled the ball, and it's been recovered by Southern Methodist University. Hopkins, I think, when they get him unstacked.
Here's a look. You see Brian Thomas lined up, Joe McCall lined up deep in the I formation. The ball was never he never had full possession of the ball. You can see him looking for it right there. Here's another look. Good penetration by the SMU defense. He's trying to go over the top, and I think he's more concerned with jumping. He dropped the ball before he jumped, actually. It's on the ground. The SMU make the recovery. And they've got the ball on their own 1-yard line.
So Pitt does not drive into the end zone. Instead, they cough up the ball, as by the time he left the ground and made the leap in there, McCall had lost the ball already. It was recovered by Southern Methodist, and they'll start 1st and 10 just outside their 1-yard line. Lance McElhenney is their quarterback. That is McElhenney.
Lindsey, sometimes you see this happen when an offensive back is concerned about jumping over the line, and you're going to see him concentrating on the jump, actually, and not really worried about the ball. The ball comes loose. He fumbles it as he's beginning to jump. No contact. The ball just came right loose from his hands, and SMU recovered.
And it was Wes Hopkins who recovered for SMU. They run out of a power eye. Just keep it on the ground, but move it out there to the 9-yard line. Southern Methodist had Dickerson carrying on their first play. He's number 19, all-time career rusher in the Southwest Conference. Now here are the offensive backs and receivers, Pat.
McElhenney is really the key there, the way he gets the ball to the option on Dickerson and James.
Dickerson and James alternate by series. It's still Dickerson in there at the tailback now as they set up in the power I formation. Craig James is in there as well. In this particular formation, they have them both. It is Dickerson. Dickerson gets out there to the 10-yard line. He is stopped by J.C. Pelusi, who's the nose man. This is a power I formation, and in the power I that is run by Southern Methodist, they do have Craig James and Dickerson in the same backfield, but it's only when they're in the power I.
An interesting point here, Lindsey, that the defenses think they're going to run the ball. They've thrown 5 touchdowns from this very set when they've had both of these guys in the backfield. 3rd
down and a yard to go. Need a yard just to keep it alive down here. Dickerson, he's got the 1st and 10 for the Ponies. They've moved it out to the 14-yard line. Stop the clock to move the chain. And we're going to take a look at the defense now, Pat.
Yeah, the interior line of that Pittsburgh line, that Pelusi and Moss, that's the strength of that defensive line.
And the linebackers?
They have a big job in defending against the option today.
And the deep back.
As those defensive backs do. They're going to get a lot of man-to-man coverage when you're playing against an option team. So Troy Hill and Tim Lewis have their hands full.
1st down, 10 yards to go for Southern Methodist. They have the ball at their own 14-yard line. Dickerson, Kreitz. In there at the moment, they're in the I formation. Give it to the tailback. They do that a lot all day long. It's Dickerson out there across the 20-yard line. Gain of 6. It'll be 2nd down and 4. Winglikowski made the tackle for Pittsburgh. There's some stats on Eric Dickerson. He's piled up a lot of them. He was 3rd in the Heisman balloting, considered all season long a prime candidate for the Heisman Trophy. Eric Dickerson. Now they double receivers to the left side out of the huddle. Tight end right. Gary Smith and Bobby Leach are double to the left side. Smith's their leading pass receiver, 89. McElhinney instead hands it off to Dickerson. Who else? And he is stopped at the 21-yard line. It was Bill Moss who made the tackle for the Pitt Panthers. Spotted at the 21-yard line.
One thing we should mention here at the top, too, Lindsey, you think of SMU running the option purely, but we've seen them here line up in the I formation and a power I and run power football, too. It's almost like 2 separate offenses. They can come down and run the option and give the ball to Dickerson or James, or they can line them way up in the I formation and run some power football as well.
3rd down and 3 yards to go. They have it just across the 20-yard line. Running backs in and I. They're in a slot right. McElhinney with the full pivot keeps it on the option. And he's got a 1st and 10 for the Ponies. They're at the 26-yard line. Lance McElhinney, the quarterback. What's his importance to this football team, Pat?
Well, he is critical to running that option. He runs the ball, runs that option about as well as anybody in America today, Lindsey. And he does what he does best is hold on to the ball to the very last instant, then pitch the ball to Dickerson and James. And that's why you see Dickerson and James run for a lot of 80-yard touchdowns, because he brings the defense to him, then he pitches the ball.
He has a great deal of football savvy. He has him up there now in an I formation once again. His fullback this time doesn't do that much. It was Kreitz carrying and stopped by Pelusi. Fullback doesn't carry an awful lot in the offensive Southern Methodist. Penalty marker, penalty marker. So they're checking this one out. Jimmy Harper is our referee. This officials crew is from the Southeastern Conference, and here they are. Harper, Smalley, Morris, Caldwell, Delaney, and Skelton.
You're going to see the fullback, Mark Kreitz. He is the one earliest in the I-back. They give the ball to him. He's run right in the heart of the Pittsburgh front line, and he is stuffed. Playing fullback for SMU is a little bit like being vice president, Lindsey. You just don't hear about him much.
You sure don't. Somebody said he's just a guard who's misplaced.
It's dead ball, personal foul, defense, 1st down.
1st and 10 for SMU. They have the ball at their own 41-yard line. Wide receivers left and right, tight end right, running backs in an I formation. Wilson and Gary Smith are the wide receivers. McElhinney, full pivot, late pitch, and Dickerson wasn't looking for it at the moment. He blocked away, and now the scramble is still on. And it is recovered by SMU. SMU keeps it back at their 19. It looked for a moment as though Dickerson was not expecting the toss.
You're absolutely right, Lindsey. It looked like he was not expecting that ball. Look, early on, it looked like it was going to be a pass. You're going to see Lance McElhinney come down the line, and he's looking at defensive back. Now, it looks like he's trying to throw the ball. Then he pitches it. You see 19, Eric Dickerson. He was not expecting that pitch. The ball is loose on the ground. He squirts loose again. There's number 63, Pozzoli, who can't keep his footing, and the SMU linemen recover it to keep possession.
Way back there at the 19-yard line, a loss of 22 yards on that play. Grady Burnett was the man who made the recovery. Burnett started today, of course, for Southern Methodist. All the way back to the 19-yard line now. 2nd and 31. Or 32. Wilson and Smith are the wide receivers for Lance McElhinney. That's Dickerson. Trying to turn a corner, and he does. 30 and up the sideline, but he couldn't maintain his balance to keep him going out. At the 35, Tom Flynn. 5 free safety. Bounced him out over there. 16-yard pickup for Eric Dickerson. So they got back some of the yardage that they lost on the previous play.
As much as Pittsburgh tried to prepare for Eric Dickerson, you cannot simulate his speed in practice. Watch him get to the outside. He picks up a nice block by his fullback Price. A saving tackle by Tom Flynn prevented a touchdown.
3rd and 16 at the 35-yard line. Eric Dickerson, 218-pounder with great speed. Fake the draw. McElhinney looking to throw. And he's going to keep it himself. Trying to get out of bounds at the sticks. Penalty markers thrown. It was Witherspoon, Ray Witherspoon, who made the hit, the necktie tackle, the clothesline. McElhinney knew where the sticks were, and he was trying to get that first down. Emotion here at the Cotton Bowl.
There's no love lost between these two teams, Lindsay. As you know, there's been some accusations made by both teams in the papers here during the week. You're going to see the fake here to Dickerson. You don't see McElhinney drop back in the pocket much, but he does do a nice job of scrambling here. Gets to the outside. He's trying to get out of bounds. Ray Witherspoon, number 9, clubs him across the head. And it was a good call. That's not called for. Here's Ray Witherspoon. One further look at McElhinney scrambling to his right. Again, trying to pick up as much yardage as he can before he steps out of bounds. And he's out of bounds there, and there's the hit across his head.
That's a dead ball. Personal foul. Defense. First down.
And it's at the 41-yard line of Pittsburgh. There is Foge Fazio, head coach of the Panthers. Serafino Dante Foge Fazio. Got the nickname because as a small boy he couldn't pronounce fudge. Called it Foge.
He didn't stay away from it very well, did he?
Didn't stay away from it, but he got himself a name for a lifetime. 1st and 10 at the 41-yard line. There's the pitch to Dickerson. But he's pulled out. Ball got away, but was he down already? It was Tim Lewis who made the hit on the far side. Tom Flynn was the man who was on the ball. Put down on the turf at the 41-yard line.
We've seen some pretty intense hitting here early in the game. Again, here's the pitch of Dickerson. This time he is looking for the football. Breaks one tackle. Number 26, Tim Lewis, comes up. There's the face mask. Good call by the official who's right there.
Threw the flag right away. So again, it'll be a penalty against the Pitt Panthers.
We got to look at Eric Dickerson's goggles there. He does wear glasses. Now, those are prescription goggles, and it is raining here. He may have a little trouble catching the ball and seeing the ball.
Mask, defense, still first down.
Face mask on Lewis puts the ball at the 36-yard line. It is still first down, 1st and 10. 1st and 5. At the 36-yard line. Referee Jimmy Harper of the Southeastern Conference and his crew getting things checked out here. We have 6 minutes, 13 seconds remaining to be played in the first quarter. The 47th annual Cotton Bowl Classic. Pitt Panthers have been in this area, the Metroplex area, since December 17th. I talked to Dan Marino yesterday afternoon. He said he was about ready to go home. Happy New Year from all of us at CBS Sports to all of you. As we are in the fourth quarter with first quarter with 6 minutes, 13 seconds left in the period. There is no score. Motion all the way across. They're back again, Dickerson. And to the 31-yard line, right at the sticks. They'll take a look now for the possible first down. Looks maybe a shade short. Graylick made the tackle along with Wiglikowski. Dickerson 7 for 39 yards so far. Bobby Collins, the head coach. He was the coach at Southern Mississippi when Ron Meyer went to the New England Patriots. The coaching job was open here. They interviewed a lot of coaches and decided Bobby Collins was the man for their program. Right now, they are extremely happy with his work.
Did you say that's cotton-colored hair he has?
It's cotton-colored hair. You're right. Prematurely gray. It's short. They need that much. It'll be second down. McElhinney's been over in conference with the strategy staff of SMU. SMU, of course, is located here in Dallas, Texas. At one time, they played all of their home games here at the Cotton Bowl. They now play all of their home games at Texas Stadium. Not many football games are played at the Cotton Bowl. The Cotton Bowl Classic, the Texas OU game annually. Oklahoma, that is. Give it to the fullback. A little jam up there on the handoff, but Kreitz just trying to pick up a foot.
Look at the heart of the Pittsburgh defense. That's the interior line, Pelusi, Moss, and Pozzoli right there. You're going to see him come off the football again, and it's the second time they've given the ball to the fullback, the second time they've stuffed it. Right there, you see Moss, Pozzoli, and Pelusi making the play. They're only giving up 2.8 yards of rush.
Third down and less than a yard to go. They're in that power I formation. 2 for 2 on third down conversion. And Dickerson got it, and I think he got the first down as well. Out of the power I formation, and the tackle was made by Pozzoli. First and 10.
We're going to get another look at the Pitt's interior defensive line. Again, Pelusi's the one over the nose guard, number 52, right there. He stuffed some people. You see 63 Pozzoli come in there and make a play, and they did not prevent the first down, but Dickerson did no real damage.
It's an exciting afternoon here.
Late night last night.
You bet. A late night for a lot of people. New Year's Eve in Dallas, Texas. This drive started just outside the 1-yard line with the fumble recovery. This will be the 14th play in this drive coming up now. There is no score in the ball game. Pitt drove it down, lost it on a fumble. SMU has driven it up down. McElhinney. The quarterback on the keeper to the 22-yard line. Tackle made by Tom Flynn.
Well, Lindsey, I said Pitt wanted Lance McElhinney to keep the ball. They wanted to keep it, but not gain so many yards. You're going to see a lot of people concerned about Eric Dickerson in the eye, a lot of people defending him. There's nobody there for the quarterback, McElhinney. He turns upfield, puts a little move on, and then Tom Flynn's there to make the tackle.
Lance McElhinney brings him up now, 6 feet tall, 188-pounder. His father was an outstanding football player at SMU and in the National Football League. That is, again, Dickerson corralled just as he was approaching the 20-yard line, and the tackle was made by Winglikowski. We're here at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Texas. I'm Lindsey Nelson with Pat Hayden and Pat O'Brien. It's Southern Methodist and it is Pittsburgh, and we have 3 minutes, 43 seconds left to play in the first quarter. A very strange thing. To this point, we've had only 2 possessions. Pittsburgh has had the ball once. Southern Methodist has had the ball once. Now we're going to have a measure for a possible first down here, as the ball is spotted just outside the 20-yard line of Pittsburgh in Southern Methodist possession. Chain is being extended. Referee Jimmy Harper says first and 10 at the 20-yard line.
Lindsey, you know, I talked about one of the keys being Pittsburgh forcing Lance McElhinney to carry the ball on the option play. Now, they're very concerned with Dickerson. They've done a pretty good job of keeping the ball away from Dickerson on the option, but Lance McElhinney has picked up more yards than the Pitt people thought that he was capable of. So SMU's offense is doing a nice job, led by their quarterback.
We were told that SMU favors the ground game. They have run 15 times on this drive. First and 10 at the 20-yard line. Running backs in an I formation. Kreitz and Dickerson. On the draw now, it's Dickerson. Relatively no gain, maybe an inch, maybe 2. Bill Moss was there, and with him was Peep Short. Peep had a little practice injury and hobbled a little bit earlier this week.
There's the Pittsburgh defense. They rank 3rd in the nation in total defense, 5th in rushing defense. They've only given up 6 touchdowns versus the run and 6 versus the air, so they're a very, very tough and good defense.
3 minutes left to play in the first quarter. Wide receivers left and right. They've got Bobby Leach far to the left side. Jerry Smith far to the right side. Smith in motion back to the inside. Kreitz, the fullback. back, and he got a yard to the 21-yard to the 19-yard line. Dave Mazzulli made the tackle. It'll be 3rd down and 9 yards to go.
As you mentioned, the 15-play drive that SMU has going right now, and this is one way to defend Dan Marino, is keep him on the bench.
That's exactly right. You can see the clock running there in the first quarter. Jackie Wilson's in the wide left now. He's number 85. The wide right, Gary Smith, number 89. Running backs in the back, Kreitz and Dickerson. For Lance McElhinney, the quarterback. McElhinney flips it late. So there's a penalty marker on the play as it went out of bounds about the 21. Southern Methodist had last possession, of course. He almost got tangled up with the Mustang. Running into the mascot is forbidden.
That would have been a thoroughbred Dickerson hitting the Mustang.
Wouldn't it, though? Here comes the yardage being stepped off for the penalty. Referee Jimmy Harper.
Offsides, defense.
SMU has picked up 40 yards on Pitt in penalties during this drive. The ball is now on the 15-yard line. It's 3rd down and about 5 yards to go. The marker has just moved now. 3rd and 5 at the 15 for the Mustangs. They've got Leach in the wide left. And they've got Gary Smith in the wide right. Smith in motion all the way across. McElhinney with the ball to Dickerson. Left side. That second effort might have got the first down as he burst across the 10-yard line with that last burst of strength there, and I think that got the first. It did. First and goal just inside the 10-yard line. Bobby Collins.
We're going to get a look at it from the back of the end zone of some of the strength of Eric Dickerson. We know he's awfully fast. We've seen clips all year long of him breaking 80-yard touchdown runs, but they needed 5 yards here, and that's exactly what he got. He showed some great determination and strength in getting the first down.
Dickerson using that power to drive to the 7-yard line. Yogi Jones made the tackle with Pete Short. 2nd down and goal at the 7. SMU trying to get on the scoreboard with 1 minute 18 seconds remaining to be played in the first quarter. Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Texas. 20th play in this drive coming. We remind you again, they started just outside the 1-yard line. Dickerson has shed the goggles that he wears almost all the time. They're in the power I formation. McElhinney. And the ball is free, and Pittsburgh's got it. They got it at the 14-yard line. J.C. Pelusi is on the football. So now, as Pittsburgh did, Southern Methodist has driven the length of the field and given up the football deep. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 14-yard line when play is resumed. Once again, Pittsburgh in possession.
Lance McElhinney faking the ball to Dickerson, coming down the option. He's going to take a big hit there by Winglikowski. The ball is on the ground, and J.C. Pelusi recovered it. Here, the ball is pitched, actually, and hits the defender's shoulder pad. You're going to see McElhinney come down the line after he fakes the ball here. He's trying to pitch the ball to James, but it goes off the defender's shoulder pad, and you can see the hit that he took right there.
SMU had the ball 9 minutes, 25 seconds. They had it for 20 plays, and they came up empty. So it's now 1st and 10 for Pittsburgh. They have the ball at their own 14-yard line. 51 seconds remaining in this quarter. Thomas, the tailback, Marino, the quarterback. Receivers double right, single left. Counting on the slot left. And he popped out to the 19-yard line. First pass to Keith Williams of the day.
Just a quick timing play to get Dan Marino's rhythm down. It's a 3-step drop. Keith Williams, number 21, just ran a 5-yard square out. He catches the ball. He's out of bounds. 2nd
and 4 at the 20-yard line. And their slot left, double right. Setback. That's McCall. Now there goes Thomas to the tailback. Thomas. Thomas lost a yard. He was upended by Michael Carter. Nose man for SMU. 3rd and 5. Clock is running. 30 seconds remaining in the first quarter. There is no score. Barry Compton just brought a play into the huddle. Thomas in the slot left. McCall the lone setback. Double receivers to the right side. That's Thomas in motion all the way across. Dan Marino. And it's incomplete. Trying to give it to Compton coming back. 3 seconds on the clock. 4th down. The punting unit comes on.
This ball is well thrown by Dan Marino. Pittsburgh is sending 3 receivers to his right. He looks to his left. He comes back to his right. Barry Compton is slipping underneath the defenders. The ball is right there. It's well thrown. Barry just cannot hang on to it. That's the second ball he's dropped in the first half.
So punt formation since Tony Recchia deep, and it's Reggie Dupard who's back to field it, standing at his own 41-yard line for SMU.
SMU believes they can block a punt today.
Well, they won't block that one, as it hits on the 45 and takes a Pittsburgh roll all the way to the SMU 40. There'll be no run back, and it is down at the 37-yard line. So it's a 44-yard punt for Recchia, and Southern Methodist University will start 1st and 10, and first quarter has ended. In this football game, as we start the second quarter, there is no score. Pitt and SMU 1st and 10 for the Ponies, and it is taken by James, Craig James, up there to the 49-yard line. He alternates frequently with Dickerson, and they're both in there in the power I formation. A 13-yard gain for Craig James.
You're right, they do alternate series. The other part of the Pony Express, number 32, Craig James, he is has a little bit more power and a little stronger than Dickerson. He gets a nice hole, bounces off a defender, Dan Short, and picks up first down.
And there's been a penalty call now against Pittsburgh, a personal foul. That's going to advance the Ponies. They went 73 yards in that last drive, 40 of them by penalty.
That's a dead ball, personal foul, defense.
I believe that's a second personal foul against Pittsburgh as well.
It'll be 1st and 10 at the 37. Heights and Craig James are in that I formation right now. There are the penalties for the day. Officials crew from the Southeastern Conference. As James, nowhere. Bill Moss getting in there once again. First man to him. Backed up by Yogi Jones. So it is at the 40-yard line for a loss of 3. 2nd and 13.
We get a look at number 71, Bill Moss, the All-American who just made that tackle. Here's going to be the pitch to James. A little power play off tackle. Fullback, he cuts inside, but there's nowhere to go. You can see Bill Moss, that's the heart of that Pittsburgh defense. We've mentioned that before. Moss, Pelusi, and Pozzoli, there's no room to go inside.
Leach to the left side, Smith to the right, wide receivers. Smith in motion back toward the inside. McElhaney with a quick pitch to James. He can throw, and he does to Smith, incomplete. Gary Smith, the man for whom it was intended. Tom Flynn, the free safety covering.
Talk about Jack Armstrong. Craig James can do everything. He punts the football. He led the Southwest Conference in punting. He threw a 64-yard touchdown pass this season already. This ball is beautifully thrown to Gary Smith, although they did not fool the Pitt defensive backs who was right there. A little bit out of Gary Smith's grasp, but a nice throw by Craig James.
Nice toss. It was 48 yards in the air. It is 3rd down and 13. SMU is 4 for 4 in 3rd down conversion. McElhaney. Incomplete. So it'll bring up a 4th and 13. Ricky Bolin, the tight end, the man for whom it was intended.
Bobby Collins was hoping that his passing attack would be a little bit more efficient today. You're going to see Lance McElhaney sprinting out to his right. He's trying to get the ball to his tight end, number 87, Ricky Bolden, who's only caught 7 passes this year. He has him open. The ball's thrown a little bit behind him. And Bolden's going to have a tough time catching that one.
That brings up a punt formation, and Craig James led the Southwest Conference, as Pat Hayden noted a moment ago, in punting 44.9. His long was 75. Flynn is deep. Flynn's going to let that one go. It's at the 10-yard line. Bounding run, there'll be no return. It's going to be down and marked at about the 13-yard line. So now, once again, the ball changes hands, and Pitt will start 1st and 10 on that 25-yard punt. They will have it near their 14-yard line. Marino 3 for 5, 44 yards. There have been 2 drop passes. Should have been caught. That's Thomas. The BT Express to the 20-yard line. Gets it up to the 24.
We talked at the top of the show that Lance McElhaney must have an effective day passing the football. Here you can see SMU has no yards passing. He did make one nice scramble, though. The turnovers have really been the key here. They each have had one, but even besides those turnovers, the ball has been fumbled a number of times by both teams.
It is 2nd down and a yard to go now for the Pitt Panthers. It's incompetent to the left side. Julius Dawkins to the right side. They're in a slot right with a lone setback. That's Thomas in the slot. Marino. Compton, and he's got it, and there's a penalty marker back near the line of scrimmage. There is a marker. Compton is down at the 48-yard line. Tackle was made by Radford.
You're going to see the 3 All-Southwest Conference defensive backs of SMU, and Dan Marino's in the pocket, again showing some ability to get loose of the rush. Drills the ball to number 19, Barry Compton. This time Barry catches the ball for a big gain. Here's the courage. This is what they're trying to do against 3 wide receivers for the Pitt Panthers. It's a straight zone defense, top of the screen, and right in the middle of the screen now is Barry Compton, who ran an in route and beat Eddie Radford one more time for the big catch.
But there was a holding penalty.
Holding offense.
And the holding penalty moves them back to the 15-yard line.
Pittsburgh's having a tough time with the penalties. Their defense has caused most of those, but we've had a costly holding penalty right there on the offense.
Defender Kevin Chaney of SMU was asked during the week if he thought Jim Covert, the offensive tackle of Pittsburgh, was a holder. He said, well, at least he's an enthusiastic tackler. Marino. Thomas. Out there to the 25-yard line. Gary Moten, the linebacker, made the tackle. It was 2nd and 11 as they started that one. They're looking across the chains now to see just exactly what happened with regard to the sticks. Might have picked it up.
Look at this. Danny Marino's really spread the wealth there. You see his wide receivers catching 89 of 204 completions. The running backs are there of 85. The tight ends, they lost their tight end, John Brown, their #1 tight end, about mid-season, so that figures down a little bit. But that's a very good distribution. It shows you some of Dan Marino's ability to find open receivers.
Well, he found that one for a 1st down, and it's at the 25-yard line.
It looks like Pelusi, the nose guard, J.C. Pelusi, getting his ankle taped. He's the mainstay of that defensive front.
And from Youngstown, Ohio. They've got Keith Williams far to the right side in this set. Lone setback for Dan Marino. Back to Thomas. And he got maybe 2.
Lindsay, we mentioned from the very first play that Pittsburgh's had the ball, they've used 3 wide receivers. It's the first time they've done it this extensively this season. This does a couple of things for them offensively. It spreads the defense out, and it makes it a little bit more difficult to blitz Dan Marino because they have to be worrying about covering 3 wide receivers very quickly.
This is 2nd down and 8 yards to go out at the 27. Lindsey Nelson with Pat Hayden and Pat O'Brien at the 47th annual Cotton Bowl game, and Marino calls for a timeout, and he wants to go for a conference with the strategy staff of the University of Pittsburgh Panthers. Marino wearing number 13.
Just a football game. It is a week-long extravaganza of activities, a lot of distractions for the players. 3 or 4 activities a day. You know, they have breakfast, they have lunch, dinner, press conferences, brass bands running around in the hotel. They have picture days and all that, but it doesn't seem to have affected their game. Both teams seem to be on the game and pretty sharp today. Back to you, Lindsay.
All right, Pat O'Brien, it's distracting for the announcers, too. All those dance bands playing far into the night every night.
You were up there dancing. I saw you last night.
Keeps you in shape. 2nd down, 8 yards to go. With the ball at the 27-yard line for the Pitt Panthers. There is no score. Double receivers to the right side in tandem. Now motion back to the inside. Dan Marino fading back. Chased out of the pocket. And throwing over into the crowd. So that is an incompletion. Tomorrow, CBS Sports has NFL doubleheader action on the final day of the regular season. It's do or die as 7 of these teams battle for the 2 available berths in the NFC. The second part of the doubleheader is highlighted by the Super Bowl 16 champion San Francisco 49ers, who are still in the race, taking on the Los Angeles Rams. Down to the wire, doubleheader action tomorrow, beginning with the NFL today at 12:30 Eastern on CBS Sports. Third down and 8 yards to go. Thomas in motion across. Dan Marino. Up the middle to Thomas. Diving catch at the 35-yard line. Right at the sticks again. Gary Moulton, the linebacker, made the tackle.
We talked about Dan Marino having to be patient. Here's a good sign of it. His wide receivers are double covered. He's got 3 of them out in the pattern, and then Brian Thomas, his halfback, slips underneath the coverage. The ball is well thrown, and Brian Thomas makes a very good catch. He is their leading receiver.
And he got a first down. It is at the 35-yard line. Pitt keeps the drive alive. Thomas from Oberlin, Ohio, 185-pounder. There you see some stats on him. Compton and Dawkins are wide, left and right. Home set back. Spin this one right up the middle. And that was McIntyre, Marlon McIntyre, who started the season as the regular starting fullbacks. We hope you'll stay with us during the halftime intermission because we have what we think is a great halftime show for you. Brent Musburg is going to have the plays of the year. I think you'll want to see that. There's some great football plays that occurred. And, of course, we'll have the Chevrolet Most Valuable Defensive Player of the Year. We'll have the pageantry on the field. So stay with us on this New Year's Day for New Year's pageantry here at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Texas. Right now we have a timeout. There is no score in the game, and we have 10 minutes, 35 seconds left in the first half. Out here in a game that is scoreless to this point. We had that timeout because the hitting must be pretty tough. Jimbo Covert's helmet was busted. He had to go for an equipment change. He's wearing somebody else's helmet. This is second on 7 yards to go at the 38-yard line for the Pitt Panthers. Thomas in motion all the way across. Instead, they leave it inside. Taken by Marlon McIntyre, the fullback once again, and he is popped at the 38-yard line, which is the line of scrimmage, by Mitch Willis and Clarence McDade. Now it'll make it a third down and 7 yards to go at the 38. Panthers came into the ballgame with a record of 9 wins and 2 losses. They lost only to Notre Dame and to Penn State. Before the season started, they were a unanimous choice to win the national championship. Marino was called the #1 man on the #1 team, Dan Marino. Marino. Still alive. Diving catch at the 50-yard line by Barry Compton. They say that Marino is a straight drop-back passer, that he can't scramble.
Well, here's some evidence, Lindsey, that he can. You're going to see some fancy footwork by number 13, Dan Marino. It's amazing SMU has been able to put so much pressure on Dan Marino, but he does a beautiful job once again of avoiding the rush, a la Fran Tarkenton. Now he steps back up into the pocket, then delivers the ball right on the money to number 19, Barry Compton, who makes that catch, but they said he was out of bounds.
He was out of bounds, so it's an incompletion. 4th down, and Recchia is in to do the punting. Dupard is back to receiver. That's Reggie Dupard. Penalty marker back near the kicker. Dupard at the 14-yard line, to the 15, to the 16-yard line, but there is a flag back at the kicker. That's going to be roughing the kicker. 48-yard punt, return 3. But the indication is that it'll be a penalty against Southern Methodist of roughing the kicker.
Well, Lindsey, this is a point I was making earlier. The SMU coaches felt they could block a punt. They blocked 3 punts in their last 4 games of the season. They felt they could get after Pittsburgh from the inside. They tried there, but they ended up with a roughing the kicker penalty.
Bring it back, they say, and we'll have enacted the first penalty of the game against Southern Methodist.
Right, there you see the ball is clearly away. Here comes some of the SMU team, and there they are, right on top of Recchia. And it's going to be a first down.
That's going to give the ball to Pitt inside Southern Methodist territory. Let's listen to Jimmy Harper.
Roughing the kicker. Defense.
He sounds like he's from the Southeastern Conference.
Southeastern Conference. Ball is at the 47. They called it flagrant, which is why it was marked off all the way to the 47. Bobby Collins, head coach of the Mustangs. They've run this lone setback formation most of the ball game. That's McCall back in there now, and that's Thomas in motion across, and that's Marino with the wall. Going long, letting it out, and did he hang on? Nope, he did not. Fred Nichols hanging on, trying to wrestle it away from Julius Dawkins, the intended receiver. Incomplete.
Dan Marino has tremendous confidence in his arm. Sometimes it gets him in a little trouble. Here he's trying to get the ball deep to number 80, Julius Dawkins. He's got his man beaten, but you see the free safety, number 23, Blaine Smith, running back and actually end up double covering Dawkins. Ball a bit underthrown, and Radford's there to be able to knock the ball away. The ball was thrown 55 yards in the air.
It's a 2nd down and 10 yards to go. The ball at the 47-yard line. McCall ahead of Thomas in the I formation. They give it to McCall on the draw. Just about nothing, maybe a foot or two. Kevin Chaney in to make the tackle.
You know, Lindsay, Marino has taken some criticism for throwing balls like he did that last one to Dawkins over the free safety Blaine Smith. But as I mentioned, he does have such confidence in his arm, and you can't take that away from a big guy like that. He's made so many big plays over his career at Pitt. The coaches don't want to turn that off.
You saw the time remaining. The clock is running with now 8 minutes, 52 seconds remaining in the first half. On setback. Marino looking left. Guns that one. In and out of the hands of Dawkins. Julius Dawkins. Number 80.
We've seen Dan Marino have 3 passes dropped already in this first half, and yet he's going to take a lot of criticism this year. Here, he's going to drill the ball. The ball's got a lot of juice on it to number 80, Julius Dawkins, who was open, but had taken his eye off it. A close-up look. Fred Nichols against Julius Dawkins. He's down the field. He's running man-to-man for him. Dawkins just pushes away from him. He's open. The ball is there. He can't hang on.
So Recchia is in the punt again. This time he is not rough. Dupart calls for a fair catch. Lets it go. Oh, my. It's out at the pylon. It's out at the pylon inside the 1-yard line. A 45-yard punt. It is just inches away. They'll start almost at the goal line when play is resumed. There is no score. We're in the 2nd quarter. 20-yard line. If it misses, well, it's wherever it went out, which is on the 6-inch line. Look at this. Didn't quite hit the pylon. It'll go out just inches away from the goal line, 1st and 10. Southern Methodist has not exactly sparkled in their field position in this game so far. They started at their own 2, and they recovered a fumble. Started at their own 36 as a result of a punt, and then from their own 1 on this possession. No score. The Ponies are up there, 1st and 10, just outside their own goal line. Power high formation. They're looking for a little running room there, and it's Dickerson they chose to try to bust it out there. Rizzoli was on the tackle, and he got a yard.
Here's SMU's play selection. You see only 2 passing plays, but this is a situation right here, Lindsay, you mentioned there in this power set with both backs in the backfield. This is a situation early in the year. McElhaney threw a 96-yard touchdown pass to Craig James.
Well, he could throw a 99-yarder now. I mean, but he has room to. His ball's on the 1-yard line. 2nd down. Power high again. This one inside, didn't get much, maybe another yard. Belusi in to make the tackle.
If you're SMU's punter here, Lindsay, you hope they're going to get 1st down.
Don't you though? 3rd down and 8. Ball is out there at the 2-yard line. Bring it up there. Formation. From the end zone, McElhaney throwing up the sideline, and it is out of bounds. Flynn went after the ball, couldn't get to it.
Same type of play that I mentioned earlier, the power. They have both Dickerson and James in the backfield. You have to respect the fake to Dickerson. He's trying to get Craig James down the sideline, but they did not fool number 5, Tom Flynn, who's right there.
Craig James, of course, stays in there to do the punting. He is the punter who will be punting about as deeply as he can get back there in the end zone this time. Flynn and Keith Williams are dropping back the field for Pittsburgh. They're standing about the 42-yard line. He steps back and should hit the end line. It's a safety. But he doesn't. Kicks the ball. Pino run back 40, 45, 47, 48, 49. So they will start now. First and 10 at the 49, a 46-yard kick with no return. 7 minutes, 1 second remaining to be played in the first half. Pitt nothing, SMU nothing.
You see no passing yardage still by the SMU team, and Pittsburgh has shown nice balance between the rush and the pass.
They have the ball at the SMU 49-yard line. First down, 10 yards to go. Running backs in I formation. Double receivers, four to the left side, single receiver to the right side. Dan Marino. Thomas slipped as he started to make the cut. There's a penalty marker on the play. He got up to about the 47. Wes Hopkins there, the defender. In motion, illegal motion. That's a 5-yard penalty. That'll put it back at the 46-yard line, make it first and 15. It was in 1959 that TCU played the Air Force here to a 0-0 tie in the Cotton Bowl. 6 minutes, 54 seconds left in the first half. This time they've got Brian Thomas on a slot right. Calls the tailback, and now Thomas is the tailback. Thomas slipped a little bit again. Another penalty marker. I think he's going to be marked down back there at the 46. Also, Larry Cox made the tackle.
You can get a look at Brian Thomas, number 44, lined up now. He's going to follow All-American number 79, Bill Fralick, the tackle, who pulls in a little trap and watches right knee go down and touch the ground right there. The ball is dead.
So that was the call. Ball dead at the 46, no gain, 2nd and 15. Devlin, Compton, and Collins in tandem to the right side. They're on the slot left. Marino, Collins, incomplete. Dwight Collins, man for whom it's intended, from Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania. 3rd and 15 for the Panthers. He's had 4 drop passes.
You're absolutely right, Lindsey. You're going to get a chance. Here's the tandem. You're going to see Dwight Collins. He's lined up deep, and he's going to go in motion. He's lined up right behind Barry Compton. They want to try to confuse the SMU secondary. He goes in motion. He runs a little hook pattern, and then he curls away from the defender. Again, the ball well thrown. Collins can't handle it.
3rd down and 15 yards to go. Marino. Sideline, they say he stepped out of bounds at the 44-yard line, which is not enough for the first down. Picked up 11 yards on the scramble. Run out by Wise.
One more look at Dan Marino, who's surprising a lot of people, including myself, with his ability to move around. He's doing a beautiful job. Pretty good protection here. Can't find anybody open. He does not force it this time. We said he must do that. He steps out of the pocket and down. And watch the defensive back. It looks like he's afraid to hit him. He's the way the game's been called. But Danny runs out of bounds there and didn't get the first down.
An apparent penalty on the play. Referee Harper comes over.
There's no flag. The flag was dropped in there.
What do we call an inadvertent flag?
Is that what you call it?
That's what you call it. That's what Davy Nelson in the rule book called it. So that means they didn't make the first down. The punting unit comes in because it's 4th down, and Tony Recchia is in to do the punting. He's from Vandergrift, Pennsylvania. He is a junior. Dupard is dropping back to field it. And of many talents for Southern Methodist. That's Dupard, Reggie Dupard. Gets it off, high trajectory kick, fair catch signal has gone up, but he won't play it. And It's in the end zone. Touchback, 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line. 44-yard punt with no return, with no score. 5:35 remaining in the second quarter.
Hi again, everybody. Pat O'Brien. You know, number 78 for the Mustangs, Richard Neely. Two things worth mentioning about him. For one thing, he's a graduate student getting a master's in business administration. The second thing is that he is legally deaf. He cannot hear anything from the coaches, from the fans, and from the other players. In fact, his teammates like to kid him and talk about when they line up across from him, and shall we say, when they talk to him, rather nastily sometimes, he just stands there and looks at them. They can't figure out why. Back to you, Lindsay.
Okay, Pat, that's the same reaction I get from Pat Hayden on occasion.
Well, Happy New Year to you.
Yes. Here we go. 5:35 remaining in the first half. It's at the 20-yard line, 1st and 10. McElhenney, screen left. James has the ball, and he's up to the 25-yard line. Picked up 5 on the play, 2nd and 5.
Lindsay, that was the first time SMU threw the ball on 1st down, but it was a nice safe pass, a little screen pass to Craig James to give McElhenney a little bit of confidence. And we talked about him early in the show that he had to have an effective day passing the football. And so he doesn't need to throw it 30 times, but when he does, he has to be effective.
At the big play luncheon yesterday, we asked the starting quarterbacks to toss out the autographed footballs that were won by people who had attended. We gave it to McElhenney and said, pass it out there. He said, would you mind if I just pitched it? Motion all the way across. There's James. Craig James. Across the 31-yard line. Pat Lowry in to make the tackle.
You line up Craig James in the I formation, you give him the ball, you tell him, find the crease, Craig James. Here they give the ball nice and deep. He follows his fullback block. He goes over Andrew Campbell, his right guard. And then you can see Joe Beard pulling for him. Breaks a little arm tackle there, and you see some of the strength. But he does a nice job of picking a hole.
And he got a 1st down. It's outside the 31-yard line. The running back's in an eye. That fights the fullback. James, the tailback. Fullback out to the 33. Pat Lowry made the tackle. Now be sure to stay tuned at halftime for our halftime activities featuring a look back at the great plays of 1982. Then our In Their Own Words feature, former SMU standout, the real immortal of Southern Methodist football, Doak Walker. And halftime festivities on the field, all coming up at halftime right here on CBS Sports. And in addition to that, you will also see the Chevrolet Defensive Most Valuable Player of the Year, who is here today. McElhenney, and he's throwing to Craig James. Craig James, and he's got it. Craig James at the 34-yard line. Tom Flynn was the defender. 33-yard pass. 1st and 10 for the Ponies at the 34 of Pittsburgh.
Lindsay, Craig James is SMU's 2nd leading receiver. First, you're going to see him accept the fake. He's right there in the middle of the screen. He's going to sneak down as McElhenney looks to his right. Then he comes back late to Craig James, who's down the middle. He has beaten the defender, the linebacker. And it's just Tom Flynn, number 5, who comes over and recognizes it late to prevent a touchdown, but a big play by Craig James.
Now the Ponies up there in the I formation, wide receivers left and right. McElhenney with the football. On the draw play, again to James, but this one does not fool the defense of the Pitt Panthers, as Kranick, the linebacker, made the tackle. It'll be spotted at the 37-yard line.
You see in the last 3 possessions, SMU has had terrible field position, really starting their 2, the 36, and the 1. That might be one of the reasons they have not thrown the ball much. This last time, though, they had decent field position. When they moved the ball, McElhenney's completed 2 passes, and that's going to be a big factor.
2nd and 13. They're at the 37. We have 2:52 left in the first half. There is no score. McElhenney lost it. And it's dropped. At the 34-yard line, it is dropped. Bolden, the tight end, the man for whom it was intended, Ricky Bolden.
All the receivers out there today seem to be having a tough time hanging on to the football. Maybe this is one of the reasons SMU does not throw it too well, but you can see McElhenney roll out to his right. The ball is well thrown to his tight end, 87, Ricky Bolden. He's only caught 7 passes all year. He should have had 8.
Ricky Bolden. They say he's one of the finest blocking tight ends they've ever had at Southern Methodist. His home is here in Dallas. He weighs 251. He's 6'5". All right, 3rd down and 13 yards to go for the Mustangs. McElhinney. Over the middle, James. Dropped the ball. Picked up by Pittsburgh, and they've got it. They have got it. It's Dan Peep Short. Peep Short recovered the fumble. James was the man who caught it, and then Yogi Jones shook him loose from it, and Peep Short picked it up. So the Panthers get the football. That's the second fumble lost by Southern Methodist. First and 10 at the 36-yard line.
Over the middle, you're going to see McElhinney dump the ball to Craig James, number 32, right over the offensive line of scrimmage. He's looking downfield. There's the dump off to James. And look out, here comes number 59, Yogi Jones. That can ruin your whole new year.
I had a coach tell me earlier in the year that he had two kinds of receivers. Those who didn't want to go over the middle and those who weren't going over the middle.
And this is the reason why. Another look at Craig James. Yogi Jones makes a hit, and Dan Short is going to recover the fumble. A lot of hitting as Pat O'Brien going on down there today.
Yogi. First and 10 at the 36. Marino with the ball. Fakes the draw to Thomas and throws it, and it is complete at the 43-yard line. Got it to McCall. Wes Hopkins made the tackle. Picked up 7. It'll be second down and 3 yards to go.
Like Rob Fada, number 64, that their left offensive guard is limping off the field there.
Paul Dunn is coming to replace him. Double receivers to the left side as they've got Compton and Collins out there, as they have had for most of the ball game, and Dawkins wide to the other side. Thomas to the 45-yard line. Needed 3, got 2. Third and 1. Michael Carter made the tackle. 2 minutes, 13 seconds, and the clock is running. That's time remaining in the first half. It'll be third and a long yard here for the Pitt Panthers. Began their season in Pittsburgh at Three Rivers Stadium, defeating North Carolina by a score of 7-6. Marino. McCall in the left flat. With a pick. Got the first down, and it's at the 45-yard line of SMU. Gary Moten, the linebacker, made the tackle.
Here's Danny Marino again being patient. We said he needed to do this. First, he's going to look downfield. He's trying to get the ball downfield. Then he dumps it off to Joe McCall, number 34, who puts a good move on Wes Hopkins, an all-Southwest Conference defender. Gets to the outside, and there's number 33, Gary Moten, who's been everywhere and all over. A closer look at Gary Moten, who Bobby Collins says is the best linebacker in the country. And their defensive coordinator, Bill Clay, says he's the best linebacker he's ever coached. But he's there a little bit too late to prevent a big game.
First and 10 for the Panthers at the SMU 45-yard line. Marino. And it's Compton. He's at the 32-yard line. It's another first and 10. Russell Carter on that corner made the tackle. He's all Southwest Conference. A pickup of 13 yards on the pass completion. Clock is running. 1:33 remaining in the half. Marino marking out the next play. Hops it once and retreats. McCall, 30, 25, 20, and out of bounds at the 18-yard line. First and 10, Pitt at the SMU 18. Anthony Beverly ran him out.
We talked about Dan Marino having an intelligent passing day. Here, once again, he looks downfield. He does not force the ball, though. He dumps it off to number 34, Joe McCall, similar to the play previous. But you're going to look at number 21 here, Keith Williams, who's the receiver down here in the bottom of the screen. He puts a move on. He's down the field, and he looks wide open. But Dan Marino did not do the bad thing. He still dumped the ball off and got a big first down.
Clock starts on the snap, 1:20 remaining. Pittsburgh trying to get on the scoreboard before the halftime intermission. Marino. Incomplete. On the post. Compton. 19. That's he. Carter covering.
It's a crossing pattern between Barry Compton and Dwight Collins. You're going to see Collins there come to the outside. Number 19, Compton inside. The ball is thrown inside a little bit too high. Compton can't hang on to it.
Marino is 9 for 17, 106 yards in this first half. He's number 13 at the close of this game. That 13 will be retired, as were the numbers of Tony Dorsett and Hugh Green. It off him and covered it himself. So it's incomplete, I guess, as it were.
You're going to see Dan Marino, nobody's open again, so he does not force the ball. A little bit of trouble. He steps up to his right. Now he's going to try to push the ball off to number 34. Joe McCall goes off his back. Now, he was not underhand, so it was not a lateral. And it was not a fumble either. And so in that case, it was an incompleted pass. Good call by the official.
It is 3rd down and 10 yards to go at the 18. That was an incompleted pass the last play. So the ball is spotted at the line of scrimmage, the 18. Calls the lone setback here. At Thomas in motion across. That's Marino with the football. Compton! He was really popped at the 11-yard line. And the man who popped him was Blaine Smith. All Southwest Conference. Free safety.
You do pay a price when you play wide receiver and you go over the middle. Barry Compton, who's had some big catches and a couple drops today, he's going to catch this ball, which is well thrown, but number 23, Blaine Smith, the All-Southwest Conference free safety, boom, and you see why he made All-Southwest Conference. He put a hit on Barry Compton that he's going to remember.
University of Pittsburgh is located, of course, in Pittsburgh. SMU is located here in Dallas. We're going to take a look at the campuses of both these fine schools.
The University of Pittsburgh is the
Barry Compton getting hit by Blaine Smith, the free safety. The ball was thrown right there, smack on the money, and number 23, Blaine Smith from Houston, puts the hit on him.
On 4th down, and 2 yards to go at the 10, we're going to have a field goal attempt by Eric Schubert. Daniels is holding. It is up. It is no good. It is no good. 27-yard attempt is no good. So no points on the board. Ball changes hands, 50 seconds on the clock, and it'll be spotted at the 20-yard line. 1st and 10 for Southern Methodist, as Schubert's 27-yard attempt went awry with Daniels holding. So we still have a scoreless football game here in the Cotton Bowl at Dallas.
It so often happens, Lindsey, when we have 50 seconds left in the half. So often it happens when you expect a big offensive show, the defense dominates early.
I was going to say, I'm certainly glad I called it at the top of the show, an outstanding offensive battle. That is tailback Dickerson, Eric Dickerson. Got it out there in advance of the 22-yard line. J.C. Pelusi made the tackles. He makes a lot of them. We remind you once again now, you're invited to stay with us during the halftime intermission, and I think you'll be entertained because Brett has a piece on the college football plays of the year that we saw, and I think you'll enjoy it thoroughly. In their own words, is Doak Walker, of course. The Chevrolet Most Valuable Defensive Player of the Year will be presented. The pageantry on the field here to have all of that coming your way. Goes away into Reds. Dickerson again, he's still alive. 25. Eric Dickerson out to the 30-yard line. Might have just picked up the first down. Tim Lewis in to make the tackle. He's carried 16 times for 62 yards, Dickerson has.
Here's number 26, Tim Lewis. He's got a tough job today. Not only does he have to go up and support and tackle people like Eric Dickerson and Craig James, but because of the option game, he is forced to play a lot of man-to-man coverage.
1st and 10 at the 35 seconds remaining to be played in this half, and the clock starts on the snap. Dickerson's the tailback. Wrights is the fullback. McElhenney is the quarterback. Dickerson. He carries it up to the 40. Up Dupard is deep, standing at the goal line to receive it for Southern Methodist. Here comes Schubert. Reggie Dupard is 2 yards deep in the end zone. Goal line 5. He's out to the 10, 15, and to the 17-yard line. We're at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Texas. Artificial turf here. There was a little rain falling in the first quarter. The temperature has fallen from 39 to 38 now. The wind has increased in velocity to 14 from the northwest. Humidity up to 85%. Forecast says rain. First and 10 now. For Southern Methodist, they have the ball at their own 17-yard line. Their quarterback is Lance McElhenney. And their tailback is Craig James. Mark Price is the fullback. Craig James, and he found an opening out to the 28-yard line. Deep short, up to make the tackle. Gain of 11 yards. He's carried 5 for 25.
We're going to take a look here at the first half stats. This has been really a game for SMU of field position. When they've had field position, Lance McElhenney has thrown the ball and thrown the ball effectively. When they have not, and they've been backed up quite a bit today, they have not thrown the ball well, and he only has 39 yards passing. Pitt has hurt itself with 7 penalties.
First down, 10 yards to go. The ball is near the 29-yard line now for SMU. Tight end Bolden to the left side. Quick pitch to James. Craig James stretched his body out to the 31-yard line. Tim Lewis on the tackle. And at 2 yards makes it second down and 8 yards to go. In Cotton Bowl history, there have been 2 scoreless ties. In 1947, Arkansas and LSU. Weather had a lot to do with that one. In 1959, TCU and the Air Force. You say those things, and as they say, they pop up there, don't they?
Isn't that amazing?
What'll they think of next? Second down and 8 yards to go. Bolden moves over again to try that. McElhenney on the keeper. And he moved it out for another first down. Tom Flynn made the stop out there near the 40-yard line.
There's a first down tendencies, Lindsey. SMU's run the ball 13 of 14 times, and you need a little better balance than that. First down, and they've only gained 2.4 yards on first down. They need some better balance, and first down is critical. They need at least 4 yards.
Their leading pass receiver, Gary Smith, is far to the left side. He's number 89. That's Bolden moving over in motion. Now the pitch to James. Craig James. It's a stand-up block by Smith that allowed him to turn the corner, and he approached the 50-yard line before he went out of bounds with the assistance of Yogi Jones.
At halftime, Lindsey, we talked about getting the ball to Dickerson and James in the option. You can see McElhenney come out here in the second half and do it. He pitched that ball with 2 hands. They've had some trouble with the exchanges before. James catches the ball. It does not look real fast, but he's strong and picks up close to a first down.
Second down, less than a yard to go. The ball is approaching the 50-yard line. James weighs 215. He's 6'1" from Houston, Texas. Southwest Conference leading punter as well. He's the tailback in the I formation here. Bolden moving over in motion. James, well, he lost about a yard. J.C. Pelusi from Youngstown, Ohio, and there to make the tackle for the Pitt defense. It's going to make it third and about 2.
There's a look at J.C. He's one of 3 brothers who have played at Pitt. I had the misfortune of playing against one of his brothers.
Is that the one you went back to California without remembering?
Yeah, I woke up about Phoenix.
I understand. Third down and 2 yards to go with the ball at the 48-yard line. They're in that power I formation now. James, and I think he got the first down all right. He got across the 50-yard line. Craig James on the carry. First and 10 at the 49-yard line. Rizzoli, J.C. Pelusi made the tackle.
You mentioned Craig James being named All-Southwest Conference, both as a running back as a punter. Southern Methodist had 13 players that made either the first or second team in All-Southwest Conference selections.
Let's see what they do on first down now. Already in this half, Southern Methodist has averaged 8 yards on first down.
Down in front, please.
McElhenney. He has kept it, and he has lost a yard. Wenglikowski made the tackle. It'll make it second and 11.
Here's a good look at Lance. He's only thrown 3 interceptions this year, and he's thrown 10 touchdowns, so he has thrown the ball this season. He has been pretty effective.
His completion percentage coming in was 47.5 for the year.
He's come up with some big passing plays.
Go away! Go!
James cannot penetrate the Pittsburgh defense. Pelusi is there again. Just inside the 49-yard line. Third and about 9.5. Greg James back to the huddle. After today's game, Pitt defensive coordinator and linebacker coach Charlie Bailey leaves the Pitt staff to become assistant head coach at Tampa Bay Bandits of the USFL, and Bob Junko will be the new defensive coordinator. As the all-time Southwest Conference rushes, and that's interesting. We'll talk about that a little more in a minute. McElhinney overtaken from behind and is lost all the way back to his own 41-yard line. Pete Short is the man. First sack of the ball game. That brings out the punting unit.
You get a look from the ground. Dan Short, who did sack him, is a strong safety. Now, Lance McElhinney never sees him because he's coming from his backside. There he scrambles, and there's number 29, Dan Short, who puts the stop on McElhinney.
Greg James is coming to do the state and to do the punting, and Keith Williams and Chris Jellick have dropped back to field the punt for Pittsburgh. Standing along their own 20-yard line. There is no score in the third quarter. James bums it. And it is fielded back at the 12 by Williams. Keith Williams finds some running room across the 30-35 and is popped at the 36-yard line. A 47-yard punt return, 24 yards.
Keith Williams, number 21, has a little run room to begin with. He feels the ball. It went deeper than he expected. He picks up a couple of blocks. There's a lot of opening ground there. Gets a big, big hit. And we'll be back at the Cotton Bowl in just a moment.
Sharp can solve the problems of almost every kind of retail business with their incredible electronic cash registers. Like what and how much?
Felt by the Pittsburgh defensive front.
First down, 10 yards to go. The ball is at the 36-yard line now. Dan Marino, number 13, the quarterback. McCall is the lone setback. Popped it down and out to Compton. Barry Compton. Chalfont, Pennsylvania.
Interesting, Lindsey. Pittsburgh comes out with the first possession in the second half with a tight end. Now, the whole first half, they did not use a tight end, and I think it threw SMU off a little bit, caught by surprise. Now they've come out with a tight end.
Second down and 2 at the 44 now. Got a slot right, and the slot back is Dwight Collins. To Collins. Got the first down at the 49-yard line. Wes Hopkins of Birmingham, Alabama, made the tackle. First and 10 for Pittsburgh at their own 49-yard line. 9 minutes, 28 seconds left to play in the third quarter.
Here's a look at the two quarterbacks. You see Lance McElhinney in the bottom. He's been backed up in a bad field position. Has not been as effective as he had hoped. Dan Marino has had a good day. Has had 4 or 5 passes dropped.
Julius Dawkins is in the far left. Dwight Collins is in the slot. By the draw play to McCall. And he is hauled out by Washington. Russell Washington from Fort Worth, Wyatt High School. Gain of a yard on the play. Bobby Collins. But light rain falling on. There is Foge Fazio. He doesn't mind the light rain. If you're from Pittsburgh, that's the way you feel about it. They were kidding at the banquet about Pittsburgh weather in Dallas, Dallas weather in Pittsburgh. Marino. Completes it. At the 45-yard line, Brian Thomas. Bradford made the tackle. It's It's at the 44-yard line.
Here's a look at Brian Thomas. That's Marino's 7th completion to a running back today. And we mentioned it earlier in the show how Dan Marino has really spread the wealth around and kept a lot of his receivers happy.
All right, what do you do on 3rd and 3? Listen, Compton in the wide right, Collins in the slot, Dawkins in the wide left, and the slot over there, and a lone setback. Marino. Again to Thomas. I think he got out at the sticks. They reset him, and look now, as he got the first, it's very close. Lane Smith is the man who popped him. He knew where the sticks were. Might have missed it by shade. They have to reset him and then set the ball.
There's a pass distribution. Joe Daniels, the offensive coordinator of Pittsburgh, said Danny Marino had to have an intelligent passing day. Now you can see he's doing that. He's throwing the ball. He's not forcing the ball. His backs have caught 8 passes. His wide receivers have caught 6. They've only had 1 play where a tight end has been in on a pass, so that statistic where no catches by the tight ends is a little misleading.
4th down and inches to go. Ball is at the 41. It is 1 for 1 on 4th down. Can they keep the drive alive from the I formation? Thomas, I think he got it, but not much. SMU doesn't think he got it. Wes Hopkins was the man who made the head-on hit. They'll get him unstacked, spot the ball.
Take a look at number 33, Gary Moten. His coaches are very, very high on him. He's right there. He's securing the middle, fights off a block or 2, fights off the fullback, is there to help out his teammates.
So now they bring out the chain. If he didn't make it, the ball goes over. That was a 4th down play. If he did, they keep the drive alive. SMU in anxious anticipation. 1st and 10. 1st and 10 for Pittsburgh. They made it. Coach Fazio says 1st and 10. 1st and 10.
They did not make it by much. He's taken some criticism this year for his play calling, but he's happy he got the 1st down there. Some unfair criticism. I don't understand how you can be 9-2 and take all the abuse that Coach Fazio has.
Pretty good record. Lost only to Notre Dame and Penn State. 1st and 10 at the 40-yard line for the Panthers. Moreno completes it to the 35-yard line. Picked up 5 on the completed pass to Clint Wilson, the tight end, who replaces John Brown, who is out with an injury. Bobby Collins still wrapped up there. Head coach completing his 1st year at SMU. 2nd and 5 at the 35. 6:56 left on the clock, 3rd quarter. Marino. Incomplete. He was trying to get it out to Collins, and Wes Hopkins made the save. Third and 5.
You're going to see Danny Marino come out. He's opened up the 2nd half, really throwing the football, but it's a very nice defensive play by number 46, Wes Hopkins, the strong safety against Dwight Collins. They say he's the best walk-on that's ever played at SMU.
He's had 6 interceptions throughout the year. 8 plays, 6 passes on this possession for Pittsburgh. They've had it in the air. Now in reverse here. Thomas is carrying. Got it inside the 30-yard line. That'll be another 1st down at the 27. Gary Moten is the man who upset him.
A fine call by Coach Fazio on offense. It's 3rd and 5. They've been throwing the ball every down this series. What do? You run a trap. You follow Jimbo Covert, your All-American tackle, and you give the ball to number 44, Brian Thomas, who finds a way to pick up a 1st down. Nice call.
Here's the play selection on this drive. Total plays 9. They've rushed 3 and passed 6. 1st and 10 at the 27 here. Incomplete at the 20-yard line. Tried to get it to Julius Dawkins. Second and 10 at the 27. No score in this game. Russell Carter on the corner was covering. He's a man who had 4 interceptions during the season.
We've seen both of these teams make some adjustments at halftime, Lindsey. We saw SMU come out in its first possession, run more of the option, get the ball to James. Here in Pittsburgh's first possession, they come out and put the ball up in the air more than they did in the first half.
For the day, Marino is 15 for 26, 142 yards on this drive. 5 for 7, 28 yards. Thomas. Little nifty running got him inside the 20-yard line to the 19. Stopped by Richard Neely. Richard Neely from Highland Park High School right here in Dallas. Through the years, they have supplied SMU with some outstanding football players. They're practically in the shadow of the campus. They had fellows named Doak Walker and Bobby Lane there at the same time. Lane, of course, went to Texas, and Doak became an immortal at Southern Methodist. 3rd down and 2 yards to go. At the 19.
8:24.
Marino moves up, moves out, and is nailed. Michael Carter got him. He's from Jefferson High in Dallas. First sack. First time that Pittsburgh has been sacked.
You're right, Lindsey. That was the first time he's been sacked today, but Dan Marino's been under pressure all day, and that's saying something. This Pitt offensive line is pretty good. They've only allowed 7 sacks all season, and this is the 8th. This one comes from number 74, Michael Carter. Again, another all-Southwest Conference performer for the SMU Mustangs.
4th and 11 at the 28, and it's going to be Eric Schubert taking another shot at the field goal. Daniels in the hole for him. 43-yard attempt. A 43-yard attempt for Eric Schubert. His longest of the year was 48. He missed from the 27 earlier in this ball game. And that one is good. So Eric Schubert boots the field goal. That puts Pittsburgh on the scoreboard with 4 minutes, 34 seconds left to play. It is now the Pitt Panthers 3 and the Southern Methodist University Mustangs nothing. Pittsburgh scored with 4 minutes, 34 seconds remaining to be played in the 3rd quarter to take the 3-0 lead. There's Dupar. And there's Schubert.
On that drive, Lindsey, Pitt had the ball for 13 plays and consumed 5 minutes and 40 seconds of the clock.
He's got it set. Reggie Dupar. 7 yards deep in the end zone, will not run it out. Now let's go down to the sidelines to Pat O'Brien.
Thank you, Lindsey. Talk about home field advantage. You know, it's freezing rain out here today. The SMU Mustangs have their own little heating system on the sideline. Over on the Pittsburgh side, nothing. By the way, I'm told it's about 55 degrees and sunny in Pittsburgh today. Back to you, Lindsey.
Okay, Pat O'Brien. It'll be at the 20-yard line now for the SMU Mustangs.
You notice how Pat O'Brien's been huddling around those heaters?
I notice he stays right around there with that coat buttoned up, too. And rushing, Dickerson scored 17 times for 71. The Pitt team, 21 times for 66. Dickerson's been the big rusher. He's been that for a long time. He's got the ball again, and he gets it out to the 25-yard line. It's 2nd and 5. At the 25-yard line, the tackle was made by Winglikowski. Pitt's Dan Marino and Lance McElhenney of SMU are among the 12 finalists for the 1982 Davy O'Brien National Quarterback Award. The award honoring the late TCU 1983 All-American and Heisman Trophy winner will be presented to the nation's #1 quarterback at a dinner February 15th in Fort Worth. Honoree will receive a gold medallion and a $10,000 scholarship grant. Also will go to his school. Roger Staubach will be the guest speaker. Jim McMahon, the former record-breaking quarterback last year at Brigham Young, was the 1981 recipient. 2nd down play. Dickerson again. He's got the 1st and 10. Across the 30 out to the 32-yard line. Redak made the tackle. Scared 19 times Dickerson has for 83 yards.
SMU has not been able to spring Eric Dixon on a big play, but he's impressing me with some of his strength. You see him make a nice cutback. He reads the block well and picks up 4 or 5 yards. We're going to get a look at number 65, Joe Beard, the All-Southwest Conference guard for SMU. Watch him go down. He's putting a double team on Pelusi, screens him out, and gives Dickerson some room.
Bolden moves across, 87. McElhinney has the ball. McElhinney still has the ball. Dickerson throws a block for him, but he doesn't help. Pelusi pursues and makes the tackle.
Pelusi got blocked the play before, but right there he came in to make a big play on McElhinney.
Loss of about 7 on the play, or 6. As the time remaining in the third quarter and running. 2nd and 16 at the 26. Dickerson and Kreitz in the I formation. Dickerson again. But only up to the 28-yard line for 2. Benak and Pelusi made the tackle.
SMU keeps testing that interior line of the defense of Pittsburgh. It's a tough place to run. They're going to have to find a way to get the ball to wide receivers. That was a 2nd and 16 call. They gave the ball to Dickerson up the middle. They gained about 3. Now they were 3rd and 13.
Dickerson and James on the same team, and they alternate a great deal. All-time career rushing in the Southwest Conference. Dickerson's number 1. Earl Campbell is number 2. Craig James is number 3.
Good company.
Smith in motion all the way across. McElhinney still alive and lofting it up. And completed at the 49-yard line. A leaping catch made by Leach, Bobby Leach. It's a 1st and 10, a 21-yard pickup on the play. It was 3rd and 14. They got 21.
Well, here McElhinney does do a nice job of getting rid of the ball and avoiding a rush, too. You're going to see Dickerson, number 19, put a little block there on Bozzoli. Here he gets rid of the ball. Bobby Leach jumps up. He's been their big play receiver all year. We'll have an isolated look at number 77, Bobby Leach. He's a sophomore. He's 5'11", 165 pounds. Goes behind the defender, is looking for the ball, comes back for it, goes up and catches the ball in front of the defender.
So it's 1st and 10 at the 49-yard line. And try the reverse play here now. That's Leach. This one just doesn't work. It went from McElhinney to Dickerson to Leach and down to the 38 because a fellow named Chris Dolman was there. Second and 22.
Here's SMU rushing in 20 times on 1st down. They've run the ball only 1 pass and 2.1 average. That's not good enough.
We are now very late in the third quarter. As a matter of fact, right now we have exactly 1 minute to play in the third quarter. Pittsburgh leading by a score of 3-0 on an Eric Schubert field goal. Timeout, SMU. The Ponies have taken a timeout with 54 seconds remaining to be played in the quarter. Pittsburgh is leading by a score of 3-0. Dallas. 2nd down, 22 yards to go for SMU, and they have the ball at their own 37. Pittsburgh is leading 3-0. Bolden moves over to the left side as the tight end. McElhinney going long, letting it out to Leach, and he's got it, and he's out of bounds at the 20-yard line. 47 seconds left in the quarter. 42-yard pickup. Troy Hill was the defender.
Guy's a winner. He's going to throw a go pattern to his wide receiver, Bobby Leach. He has a step on his receiver. The ball is well thrown and well caught. You're going to get an isolated look at number 77, Bobby Leach. He's been their big play receiver, big play man all season long. Again, he beats Troy Hill, number 22, on the coverage. Well thrown ball, goes over his outside shoulder to catch it, and then runs out of bounds. Good execution.
5 for 8, 101. Leach is caught 2 for 62. Dickerson gets it down there to the 6-yard line. Yogi Jones popped him there. The 16 9-yard line it is. And 4 yards on the play. Time remaining in the quarter. Clock is running. 25 seconds left. Leach brought the last play in. Clock still running. It's wound down now to 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. They may let it run out. And that will have been the final play of the third quarter. So that's the end of the third quarter with the score, Pittsburgh 3, SMU nothing. We'll be back with fourth quarter action after this message and a word from your local station. We're ready to start the fourth quarter. I'm Lindsey Nelson with Pat Hayden and Pat O'Brien. Pittsburgh is leading SMU by a score of 3-0. SMU has the ball second down and 7 at the 17-yard line of Pittsburgh. They're used to pressure during the season 5 times. In the fourth quarter, they've even tied or losing. They are still undefeated. There's Dickerson. Dickerson to the 11-yard line. Rennick and Yogi Jones, the linebackers, converge to bring him down.
It's 2nd and 7. They're going to run the football to Eric Dickerson. They give it to him deep in the I formation. He follows a block of Campbell and Burnett and powers his way down to a 3rd and 1 situation. Good power football. Again, you're going to see Eric Dickerson come right at you. If you were trying to tackle him, this is what you'd see. A little crease. He finds it. He pops right through. And Yogi Jones and Kranek are there to try to put the stop on him.
3rd and 2 outside the 11-yard line. The 10th play in the drive that started on the 20-yard line. McElhinney has the ball. The late pitch now to James. He's at the 10. He's got the first down. He's got the first down as he hit the turf inside the 10-yard line on the cut. Tom Flynn was there.
This is the power eye backfield with both Dickerson and James in the backfield. The fake to Dickerson. Then he comes down and runs the option. McElhinney is going to run the option. He pitches the ball to Craig James. Now he's got the corner, but he and Tom Flynn, the defender, both slip right there. Wet turf.
SMU is now 7 for 10 on 3rd down conversion. This is first down and goal to go at the 9-yard line. McElhinney to the 5. McElhinney, touchdown! Touchdown for SMU. Lance McElhinney on the option, kept the ball, drove it in there from 9 yards out for the TD. 13:43 on the clock remaining in the game. SMU has taken the lead for the first time today. 80 yards on 11 plays, consuming 5:51. Conversion attempt now. Jeff Harrell will attempt it. Jeff Harrell attempting. Harrell's kick is high trajectory, good. And so as they come back up the field, the ponies of Southern Methodist lead it by a score of 7-3.
Let's take a look at the touchdown. This play was set up to play before when the option was run and pitched to Craig James. This time it looks the exact same. The fake to Dickerson. You see McElhinney come down the line? Well, Pittsburgh took away Craig James, but that gives McElhinney an opportunity to run in the end zone as he breaks a tackle and crosses the plane for the touchdown. One further look. Good decision here by McElhinney. You're going to see the Pittsburgh defense be concerned with Craig James. He's number 32 there. You see everybody sprinting there to cover him. McElhinney cuts inside number 5, Tom Flynn, for the touchdown. And here's what it looks from behind the line. If you're the Pitt defenders, this is what you see. What are you going to do? You're going to try to cover Craig James? You're going to go after the quarterback. Right here, you should have gone after McElhinney.
After the kick, Whit Smith puts it up. Taken by Compton. He's at the 9, 10, 15, 20, and gets it just across the 25-yard line. Now let's take that look.
And this is what makes the option play so difficult to defend when you have a quarterback like Lance McElhinney. We mentioned the play before. He had pitched the ball to Craig James. This time he fakes the pitch right there. Freezes the defender, cuts inside Tom Flynn, and that's 6 points.
With a conversion, it was 7, and they lead it by a score of 7-3. But now the Pitt Panthers have the ball. First down, 10 yards to go, and they have it at their own 26-yard line. Only Pitt's second possession of this half. 13:38 left to play in the game. Now they throw back Thomas, and he gets it to the 30-yard line. Radford made the tackle. Gain of 4 on the play, makes it 2nd down and 6 yards to go for the Pitt Panthers.
It seemed like, Lindsey, no sooner had you said that SMU had come back 5 times from either being tied or down to, in the 4th quarter to win a football game, they go ahead 7-3.
Here they came. Pressure is nothing new to the Ponies. Not to Pittsburgh either, for that matter. That is Thomas in motion across. Dan Marino. And it is completed up to about, I think it'll be marked 37, 38-yard line. Larry Cox on the tackle. Collins the receiver. First down, 1st and 10. About just in advance to the 37-yard line. Stats on Dan Marino. His passing stats for the day. A hometown boy from Pittsburgh, Dan Marino. McCall struggles across the 40, but Gary Moten was there. It's at the 41-yard line. 2nd down and 7. Cheney is hobbled and is coming off. Linebarger has come on. Fazio facing the sidelines. Boj Fazio. Referee Jimmy Harper has called an official's time. Going to get another ball in the game. Now he marks the ball ready for play. Starts the clock. Jumbo Covert leads him out. Offensive tackle and a good one. They've got Keith Williams in a wide left. He can fly. Incomplete. On and out to Dwight Collins. 3rd and 7 at the 41-yard line for Dan Marino. Big play for the Panthers coming here.
SMU has done a very good job of putting pressure on Dan Marino without blitzing, which is unusual because Pitt offensive line has been so good in protecting Dan Marino all season long.
Pitt's 5 for 12 on 3rd down conversion. Marino on 3rd down. And it's taken by Williams. Keith Williams at the 40-yard line. 1st and 10. 19-yard pickup. On the play, Russell Carter was the cornerback there. So now Pittsburgh has moved into SMU territory.
We've seen Dan Marino be patient and throw to those backs. This time it's 3rd and 7. He's going to throw the ball to number 21, Keith Williams. The zone pattern, he gets behind the cornerback and in front of the safety. The ball is well thrown. He catches it, keeps both feet in, and then he's out of bounds for a big 1st down.
Julius Dawkins comes into the next play. 1st and 10, Pittsburgh at the SMU 40-yard line in the 4th quarter. SMU leading by a score of 7-3. Thomas to the 35-yard line. Picked up 5 on the play. Beverly made the tackle. 2nd down and 5 yards to go.
There's yards rushing in that 3rd quarter. SMU really came on with 116 yards total today. Pittsburgh behind Brian Thomas basically had 77.
2nd down and 5 yards to go. Lone setback in this alignment for Pittsburgh. Call. Not much. 2 yards to the 33. So it's going to be 3rd down and 3 yards to go. A little hail you can see falling here. We've had down through the years every kind of weather you can imagine at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Texas. Sometimes all in one day. And today we've had a little rain, a little overcast, a little hail. Nothing to be concerned about. It'll change in a minute.
Unless you're Dan Marino Marino. Something like this can affect our passer.
3rd down and 3 yards to go. That's incomplete. He was trying to get it to his running back out there, Brian Thomas. So that's going to make it 4th down. Lane Smith was covering. Fourth and 3 at the 33.
Decision time here. Foge may be going for it.
10 minutes, 8 seconds left to play. Trailing by 4 points. Marino's looking for the play.
They are going for it.
They're going. 4th and 3. Pitt is 2 for 2 on 4th down attempts today. So they need to pick up 3 yards here for the 1st down. Marino. And it is a 1st and 10. Taken by Thomas to the 21-yard line. 1st and 10, Pitt at the SMU 21, a 12-yard pickup on the play, but there is a flag. There is a flag.
He wanted to go to number 19, Barry Compton, first, but you see him held up by number 29, Russell Carter. He can't get the ball to him, but Danny Marino had the patience, and you're going to see him after he looks at number 19, Barry Compton. He looking to his right. He can't get the ball to him. He shows him patience, and gets the ball to Brian Thomas for the 1st down. And there was defensive holding there by the SMU Mustangs, too.
And it was declined. And so it is spotted just touching the 22-yard line. 1st and 10. Defensive holding penalty on SMU declined by Pittsburgh. White Collins in the slot right. There are whistles.
Jim Sweeney, the center, is calling for a new ball.
And they get it. A dry ball. And a towel is placed over the ball. As it is marked ready for play, the umpire stays right there ready to remove the towel. Umpire is Jack Smalley. 9:40 left to play. Pittsburgh trying to keep the drive alive. 1st and 10. Thomas, 15, 10. Thomas to the 7-yard line. Russell Washington finally dragged him down. 14-yard pickup, another 1st and goal.
On 4th and 3, Dan Marino threw the ball to Brian Thomas. Here's 1st and 10, and he's going to give the ball to Brian Thomas from the I formation. He's going to follow Rob Fada and Jimbo Cobra of the left side. Picks up a block by his fullback. Does a little dance there on Russell Washington, but picks up a big gain.
At the conclusion of this game, we'll be naming, as usual, our Chevrolet most valuable player for each of these teams. Chevrolet will in turn send a check for $1,000 to the General Scholarship Fund of each of the schools, be used in all academic endeavors. Ball is spotted outside the 7, inside the 8. McCall was stood up as he approached the 6-yard line. He marked at the 7. Clarence McDade was the man who made the hit. 2nd down and goal to go. Foge Fazio, completing his 1st year as head coach at Pittsburgh. He succeeded Jackie Sherrill. Plays being signaled out there.
Coach Fazio said that he's been so busy with extracurricular activities out here at the Cotton Bowl, he's forgotten how to thread a projector.
12th play of this drive. It started on the 26. Thomas the tailback, McCall the up back in the eye. Marino chased out and looking and still looking. And Marino pops it down to the corner. He was trying to get it to Keith Williams, but it's incomplete. And Compton was down there as well. They both were sort of gathered up. Limping back is Compton.
Good pressure applied again by the SMU defensive front. Marino's trying to go to his right, good coverage. And then he steps around to his left. He's doing some scrambling. The ball slips out of his hand a little bit. It might be pass interference. You see Compton and Williams right there in the same area. You see Russell Carter run right into both of them. But the call is the ball has to be catchable to be pass interference. The official apparently felt the ball was not catchable.
3rd down and goal. Pittsburgh at the SMU 7-yard line. 8 minutes, 15 seconds left to play. Lone setback. That's McCall. Marino. And in the end zone, it had been intercepted for a touchback by Wes Hopkins. SMU takes it over on their own 20-yard line. Intended receiver was Dwight Collins.
Here's one more look at it. Dan Marino again under some pressure. This time he steps out of the pocket when he probably doesn't have to. He scrambles over to his right. He had good protection. He's directing traffic. Number 46, Wes Hopkins, tips the ball right there. Goes up. 26, 23, Blaine Smith intercepts it. It's SMU 7, Pitt 3.
Pitt in the 4-13 plays 5:35 by front and interception. Pick up 5 yards on the play. Craig James carried.
We're going to take one more look at that last interception. Now, it's easy to second-guess Dan Marino from up here, but it looks like there was no need to scramble. He had pretty good protection. All he had to do was step inside, but he decides to run outside past 37, Kovar. Now he's directing traffic, and you're going to see Wes Hopkins, number 46. He's a strong safety. He tips the ball right there, comes out, and there's 23, Blaine Smith, to make the critical interception.
Rain is falling pretty heavily here now. 2nd down and 5 yards to go. SMU at their own 25. SMU leading by a score of 7-3. James again. Greg James got 2 out to the 27-yard line. J.C. Pelusi and Yogi Jones made the tackle. It'll be 3rd down and 3 yards to go. We have 7 minutes, 18 seconds left to play in the Cotton Bowl game in Dallas, Texas. SMU came into this game as one of the nation's 2 undefeated teams. Georgia is the other. Georgia plays Penn State. He asked Bobby Collins, the head coach, what his players felt about the implications of a possible national championship if Penn State should beat Georgia and his 5th team should win today. And he said, my players think they're playing for the national championship. SMU is leading here 7-3, 6:59 on the clock.
If you want a typewriter that'll ring.
Lindsey Nelson with Pat Hayden and Pat O'Brien here on a rainy day in Texas. 3rd down and 4 yards to go. The ball is at the 26-yard line for the Ponies in a power I formation. It's now to Dickerson. Goes out at about the 33. Tom Flynn might have bounced him out. Tomorrow, CBS Sports has NFL doubleheader action on the final day of the regular season. It's do or die as 7 of these teams battle for the 2 available berths in the NFC. The second part of the doubleheader is highlighted with the Super Bowl 16 champion San Francisco 49ers still in the race, taking on the Los Angeles Rams. Down to the wire, doubleheader action tomorrow, beginning with the NFL today at 12:30 Eastern on CBS Sports. Dickerson has carried 23 times for 101 yards here this afternoon. 1st and 10 at the 32. Still in that power I formation. McElhinney, the quarterback. McElhinney's got it on the option. They have McElhinney at the 32-yard line. Granick made the tackle. Rich Granick. 2nd down and 10 yards to go.
Lindsey, you mentioned this Southern Methodist team, how they've come back in the 4th quarter. It's very much a senior football team. When they came here as seniors 4 years ago, they wanted to gain some respect in the Southwest Conference. They've won back-to-back Southwest Conference championships. Now they want some national respect, and they think if they win today and Penn State wins tonight, they have a legitimate right to claim a national championship.
It's exactly what they feel. They're leading here by a score of 7-3. This time they're up here in the I formation. Move Bolden over the tight end. Dropped by McElhinney. He recovers at the 29. Rizzoli was there for Pitt. Loss of 3 on the play will make it 3rd down and 13 yards to go. First time Southern Methodist University has been in the Cotton Bowl since 1968. First time they have played Pittsburgh since 1948. Played each other only 4 times. Pittsburgh's won 2. Southern Methodist won 1, and they tied 1. Leach is in a wide right this time. He's a big play man. 3rd and 13. Bolden in motion. James carries it out to the 32-yard line, which will make it about 4th and 10. And will bring on the punting unit.
Take a look at number 65 on the top of the screen. Joe Beard, he's the guard. He's going to lead the way for Craig James. Fakes a pass, a little draw action, then puts a block on 52 Pelusi, but clears a little path for 32 Craig James.
So Craig James is staying in there to do the punting. Flynn and Williams have dropped back. Tom Flynn and Keith Williams have dropped back to field it. Flynn is 5. Williams 21. Over to Flynn's side of the field. Flynn at the 34, 35, 36, 37. And he's down there. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Pitt Panthers. A 34-yard punt was returned 4 yards. So with SMU leading 7-3, Pittsburgh has the football.
Especially a bowl game, but I want to talk about the pressure off the field, especially for Danny Marino. He has had pressure from the press from day one, right after his first game. They've been on him all year in Pittsburgh and now in Dallas this week. Pat Hayden and Lindsay and I were talking. We've read some very vicious things written about this youngster, and you got to wonder how these 19, 20, 21-year-old kids can go out here and play football. You know, open the paper the next day and read these things written about him. And it's, you know, it's a tribute to them that they're out here playing a pretty good, tough football game. Back to you, Lindsay.
All right, Pat O'Brien. Ball's at the 38-yard line. 1st down, 10 yards to go for the Panthers. Trailing by 4 points in the ball game. Marino, the quarterback. Gives it to Brian Thomas. He moves it out there to the 45. Upset there. After a gain of about 7 yards, Gary Kovar from Houston, Texas, made the tackle. 2nd down play. 4 minutes left to play in this game. 2nd down and 2 yards to go. They've got Compton in the wide right. Collins is in the slot right. Dawkins in the wide left. McCall is the running back.
Again, Danny Marino is calling for a dry ball. He wants his officials to keep a towel over that ball. He feels it's a disadvantage when he doesn't have a dry ball. It makes his passing a little bit more difficult.
Well, you're a quarterback. Tell me about that.
Well, it does. I think it does make a difference. It's a big factor, particularly when you're throwing the ball downfield as much as Danny Marino does.
All right, they get the ball, but they don't cover it up. They leave it out there. Clock is running. It's wound down now to exactly 3.5 minutes left to play in this game. Marino swings it out on a screen to McCall. McCall undercut at the 47-yard line. That was Clarence McDade, Waco, Texas. Personal foul against SMU.
You're going to get a look at the personal foul. It's a late hit. Now Danny Marino sets up a screen pass pretty well. He looks to his left, and he dumps the ball off to McCall. Now McCall doesn't really follow his blocks. There's Paul Dunn out in front of him. He decides to cut back and go it on his own, but he does not make it. As number 91, Clarence McDade, is there to make the play.
Dead ball foul, personal foul, defense.
Number 74 is Michael Carter there, who jumped on him a little late. It was a costly penalty.
Could be a factor in the ball game because it now gives Pittsburgh the ball at the 38-yard line of SMU with 3 minutes 13 seconds left to play in the game. 1st down, 10 yards to go. Pitt at the SMU 38. Marino. He was trying to get it to Barry Compton. And the defender was Fred Nichols. 2nd down and 10 yards to go at the 38.
It's a low-angle view of a 1st down pass. It's a play action. Now, he's trying to get the ball to number 19, Barry Compton. These two have had some success today. The ball is drilled, but it's thrown behind Barry Compton. Barry Compton had no chance of catching that ball.
They get 2nd down, 10 yards to go at the 38 for Pitt. Southern Methodist leading by a score of 7-3. 2 minutes 59 seconds left to play in the game. On the draw play. It is taken by McIntyre. McIntyre stacked up at the 37-yard line by McDade. Gain of a yard on the play will make it 3rd and 9 at the 37.
Now you have 2 chances to make 9 yards, and these are 2 very critical downs for Pittsburgh.
Oj Fazio pacing on the sideline, head coach of the Pitt Panthers. The SMU sideline. They're leading in the ball game by a score of 7-3. 3rd and 9 for Pitt. Lone setback. Marino. Incomplete, trying to get it to Barry Compton again. And again covering was Nichols. 4th and 9 for the Panthers, who trail by 4 points.
This ball was incomplete because Marino was under a lot of duress by number 93 and number 60 there. Doug Holly, and 93 is Russell Washington. Made Marino throw the ball before he wanted to Barry Compton.
So now it's 2:16 on the clock, remaining to be played in the game. And this is a timeout, Pittsburgh. The Pitt Panthers have taken a timeout. They have 2 left.
And here's your room guarantee. And only Holiday Inn gives you this no excuses guarantee. Everything in your room will be right, or we'll make it right. No excuses. Or that night you sleep.
Marino back to the huddle now. 4th and 9. They are 3 for 3 on 4th down.
I remember Danny Marino had a pretty big 4th down play last year in the Sugar Bowl.
Didn't he though? Completed it to John Bond for victory. Marino. Incomplete. Tried to get it to Dwight Collins, and the ball goes over. On down to SMU with 2 minutes, 11 seconds left on the clock.
This has to be a tremendous disappointment for Dan Marino and Dwight Collins. It's 4th and 9. Danny Marino hangs in there under the pressure. Good protection, gives him plenty of time. He drills the ball to number 32, Dwight Collins, who ran it out. Route had his man beaten. The ball is well thrown. Should have been caught. Collins can't hang on. One more look. Again, good protection. It's 4th and 9, remember. You remember last year in the Sugar Bowl. One more chance right out in front of him. Dwight Collins couldn't quite hold on to it.
We want to remind you right here to stay with us at the conclusion of this ball game, because we have some exciting post-game activities for you. Ball. Coach Fazio a little dejected at this point. 2:11 on the clock. Danny Marino, the quarterback, number 13. That number will be retired. 1st and 10 at the 37-yard line for the Ponies. They leave it on the ground. Dickerson carried it. Got it up across the 40-yard line. You see the clock running there. They take the timeout suddenly. 1 timeout remaining for each team now.
It's really critical here for this Pittsburgh defense. They have 1 timeout remaining, as you mentioned, Lindsey. It's to hold them, call the timeout, force them to punt eventually. Pittsburgh will have 1 more opportunity, but they will not have any timeout. So Danny Marino should have his offense over there on the sideline talking about what they're going to do if they get the ball back.
We're going to look again at the 4th down play when the ball went over.
Another look at Danny Marino. We mentioned he's played well under pressure in the past. This is 4th and 9. He needs this completion to keep a drive alive. The ball is well thrown. Dwight Collins does have to go down for the ball, but it certainly is catchable. That gives the ball to SMU.
I want to take this opportunity to thank the Cotton Bowl Athletic Association, John F. Scoville, Chairman, J.L. Huffines, Jr., President, and Jim Brock, the Executive Vice President, SMU Director of Athletics, Bob Hitch, Head Coach Bobby Collins and his staff, and SID Bob Condren, Pittsburgh Director of Athletics, Dr. Ed Bozick, Coach Foge Fazio and his staff, SID Joyce Ashenbrenner, and to our spotter throughout the year, Bill Friel of Norristown, Pennsylvania, and our statistician, Mike Swanson of Kansas City. Thank you all. Dickerson. He got it up just near the 50-yard line.
That may be the biggest 1st down that Craig Dickerson has run in his career at SMU.
It will be, because it gives SMU another series of downs with 1:53 on the clock.
Pittsburgh only has 1 timeout. A big, big 1st down.
SMU trying to remain one of 2 undefeated college teams in this country.
The class rises to the top. Here's number 19. Again, Eric Dickerson gets to the outside, knows where the 1st down markers are, and does pick up the 1st down. 1 further look. People here at SMU are going to miss him. They've enjoyed him for 4 years, and with good reason.
All-time career rusher in the Southwest Conference. 1st and 10 at the 49. Bolin in motion. Dickerson again. Driving it to the 46. We remind you again, stay with us at the conclusion of this ball game now, because we have some interesting things to show you. I think you'll be entertained. Pittsburgh is out of timeouts. SMU has 1. That did it for Pittsburgh. We have 1:46 on the clock. SMU 7, Pittsburgh 3. Poised there along the sideline. Keep in mind now that Pitt cannot stop the clock. McElhenney is up there. Dickerson. Picked up another 1st down as he drove all the way to the 40-yard line before Tom Flynn upset it. That stops the clock for him to move the chains on the 1st and 10. And the hometown fans of SMU are enjoying it to the fullest here at this moment at the Cotton Bowl. Be sure and stay with us now at the conclusion of this telecast, because we have a number of interesting features, including the presentation of the trophy. I think you'll enjoy it.
SMU wanted some national respect. They certainly deserve it.
They do indeed. Southern Methodist University. Undefeated and once tied. McElhinney hits the deck. Tempers flare out there in the field. All the while the clock is running. Stopped at 1:06 by referee Jimmy Harper.
A disappointing finish for a Pitt team that came into the season with high expectations. Again, they don't have to apologize for a 9-2 schedule. They played a very good season, but there were some high expectations, maybe too high for this team. Coach Fazio there in his first year as a head coach. He'll be a better head coach in the years ahead, I'm sure. It's been a difficult year for him, too.
2nd and 13 back there at the 43-yard line. Bobby Collins came in, of course, in a situation where it was difficult for him to be credited, because last year they had won the conference championship. They did it again this year, and Collins gained a great deal of respect during the season. McElhinney simply hits the deck. Penalty marker goes down, because the tempers have flared here in the closing moments of this ball game. Clock is stopped with 38 seconds. On the scoreboard here, they just flashed up national champions with a big question mark. They think, and rightly so, that if they turn out to be the only major college team in this country with an undefeated record, they have a legitimate chance to claim the national championship. Jimmy Harper, the referee.
Offsides, defense.
Indicates offsides. That moves the ball down to the 38-yard line. Makes it 2nd down and 8. Coach Fazio. 34 seconds. And now it is 29 seconds, and Bobby Collins is a happy man. They're ready to have McElhinney hit the deck one more time, and that's it. He does. Pitt can't stop the clock. They're out of timeouts. And the clock is running with 10 seconds. They need not run any other play. This game, for all intents and purposes, is over. 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. SMU has finished the season on a bowl game undefeated. Once tied. They have beaten Pittsburgh by a score of 7-3. There's Coach Fazio on the way out.
Easy to do, and it's not an interview you expected to do, but you had your chances, didn't you, Coach?
Yeah, the first half I thought we had some excellent opportunities. We got the ball back, and we had good field position, but just couldn't cross the goal line.
You certainly are a class coach and a class guy. What are you going to tell to your teammates now? They certainly respect you, your team rather, or the teammates in a sense. Yeah,
I got to tell the seniors, you know, congratulations. It was great, and wish them all the luck in the world. And to the end of their class, and we have a lot of work to do for the coming 1983 season, and they have to get off on the right foot.
Any second thoughts? Second guess yourself on your 4th down call?
I don't know. There were so many 4th down calls. I don't know which one you're talking about, really.
Yeah. Do you second guess a game like this, though, or do you just what do you do?
I don't know. You know, early in the game, you know, I don't know if you can second guess it or not. Every call you make, you can second guess.
Except for now, did you have a good week in Dallas?
Yeah, excellent week. Cotton Bowl people treat us very well.
Now, that's one of the things, the distractions we talked about. Was that a factor at all? We were talking the other day about you'd forgotten to thread a projector. You've been to so many dinners and breakfasts.
Yeah, well, those are nice to go to entertain the players. They need a chance to get out and enjoy themselves.
Okay. Thank you, Coach.
Okay,
yeah, bye. Let's go back to Lindsay.
Quarterback from SMU ran the option. He fakes the ball to Eric Dickerson, who was set up to play before. When he pitched the ball, there he fakes the pitch. Defenders go for it. McElhinney is in the end zone, and that was their only touchdown score of the game. One further look from the end zone, you're going to get a chance to look. If you're a defender, this is what you're going to see in an option play. He comes down. Once more, you fake to Dickerson, so you have to respect that. You have to respect the man with the ball. There was the little fake that drew the defense that allowed McElhinney to break a tackle and get into the end zone. And Danny Marino, a little later on in the game in the 4th quarter, threw an interception. They were driving. They were down close to a touchdown. He's back here throwing. He scrambles to his right, And you're going to see some fine defense by some great defensive backs from SMU. Wes Hopkins, number 46 first, tips the ball right there. And Blaine Smith, the free safety, is there to help him out, make the interception, and stop a Pittsburgh drive.
That's exactly what it did. Now we'll be back for the presentation of the trophy. First time since 1975, Pitt didn't get a touchdown. Lowest scoring Cotton Bowl.
Thank you, Lindsay. We're down in the field here. Some of the fans are still here, and I'm here with Mr. J.L. Huffines, who is the president of the Cotton Bowl Committee. You threw about every kind of weather at us we could get today.
We sure did, Pat, but you notice the crowd stayed with us. That showed what kind of ball game we had.
Now, I know there's a presentation you've been wanting to make for some time, so I'll just go ahead and let you do it. We have Coach Bobby Collins here. Go ahead.
Congratulations, Coach Collins. We've had this trophy anxiously waiting to present it to a great team. You have had a very successful season, and now you certainly deserve the reward. And we're more than happy to.
All right, Mr. Huffines, if you can sneak through the Pony Express back here. Oh, you got a coat, too. That's right.